Hey all, thought I would do a quick update before I traveled home on my race from Challenge Daytona. Wow, I guess is about all I can say so far. Still setting in. I don't think I've really stopped smiling since I crossed the finish line, or maybe a few yards before the finish line. Definitely was a dream day. Had no idea what to expect. The format was just so new to all of us that, and the field was so strong that none of us really knew what to expect going in. We didn't know how the 20-meter draft was going to affect things. We didn't, it was a bigger field, so that kind of filled some gaps on the swim. So we didn't know if it would be 2 packs, 4 packs, or just it all strung out. So it was really a lot of unknowns. And yeah, it ended up all pretty much working out in my favor in the end. I set it up with a pretty good swim. I did the Pro-Am on Friday night, did the Pro-Am relay, did a swim there. I had a pretty, I was really happy with my swim in that. That was definitely a confidence booster going into the races on Sunday. And got in with a good group of people who I don't typically swim with. They usually swim a bit in front of me, so came out of the water, was a bit of a confidence booster there. I think I was still 37th or something like that, so and that was a really good swim for me, I would say. So that kind of just gives you an idea of the strength of the entire field out there. And so onto the bike. I started slowly moving up right away. I actually moved back quite a bit. I was with, I came out of the water with Andy Dreitz and a couple other guys. And, Andy outswam me by quite a bit out in Florida. And he passed me with a couple other guys early on. And then Lionel and Sam came through at maybe 4 or 5 laps in, and I tried to keep them as a metric for a couple laps, but I was just riding harder than I could or should have been doing, and so I had to make the conscious decision to let those guys go and just hope I could find them on the run. And so after that, I really rode the last half completely alone. Once Sam and Lionel went by, there was no one really behind me, and I wasn't really catching anybody. I was just kind of keeping pace. The nice thing about the format was, I was like, as long as I kept it right at 5-minute laps, I knew I was keeping my pace steady. And so I was just able to really focus on myself and riding a good race, and just really trying to set up my run. I think the last couple laps, I fell off that 5-minute pace by like 10 to 15 seconds. So I lost a bit of time in the last 2 laps, but I was okay with where I was at. I came into T2, I think in 21st or 22nd, and I didn't know that at the time. I really had no idea, and so just headed out onto the run, really just focusing on trying to execute a good run. I had very little idea of where things were at. I was going in, I thought, hey, if I set up a perfect day, I could squeeze in the top 10. I could just so that was the goal, is just give myself a chance to run in the top 10. And I was slowly making some forward progress. A couple people each lap, the first 2 laps, I think I was maybe 15th after the second lap. So I'm like, okay, possibly a top 10 here. And then I could just see a long string of guys in front of me, and then I started to really turn on the gas a little bit and say, okay, maybe top 10 is not setting the expectations high enough. And so I definitely negative split. Ended up, I think the last 2 laps were all under 5:10s per mile. And it was really just trying to focus on one more. I really didn't have any I'm going to end up in this place. It was just always trying to go after the next one. And on the last lap, I think I went from 8th to 2nd in the last I guess 2.5 miles. I guess that's why they call it the money lap. It was definitely kind of a blur of a couple miles. I honestly didn't know I was in second until I looked over and saw the truck with a big number 2 on it. So I'm like, oh, that must mean that's the second place media. So it was kind of a crazy day. Positions just changed so fast at the very end. And, I don't know if some of the people I was passing thought I was a lap down, or, it was kind of crazy. I got asked a lot, like, what lap are you on, as I was going by? So that was kind of motivating as well. So just the way the course was set up, it was just super motivating for me, because you could see what was in front of you, what was happening in front of you. There wasn't any turns where you'd lose people, and so you could always just have that reinforcement. And it was easy to chunk it out into 4 laps, obviously. So it was just getting to the next, getting back to that crowd and stealing some of the energy from there again. And yeah, crossing the finish line was definitely a blur. I don't really show that much emotion all the time, but it was definitely a special moment on a great way to cap off a good day. I think I said at the finish line, I picked a great day to have a great day. So can't thank the PTO and Challenge Daytona enough for putting on this show, and for making it a viewer friendly. I don't think that's ever happened in triathlon before. There were so many cameras out there, and it was just it was a really special day for me. It's still sinking in a little bit, so I hope you all enjoyed being able to watch it. If you didn't get to see it, you can still go back, and I think it's still going to be on the PTO website for a couple more weeks, so you can go back and watch both the men's and the women's race. Both were spectacular races. So yeah, for me now it's time for off season. I'm going to enjoy probably no running, at least until January 1. I'll get in the water after a few days. I can't afford timeout. Obviously, a great swim put me out of the water like 37th, so I got a lot of work to do there still. But I'm going to enjoy some downtime. I've put in a lot of races here in the last couple of months, and a move to Colorado, so I'm ready for a break. But that's all for now. Until the next one.